Hey guys, it's Nick from Worked Training and Nutrition, and today I'm going to take you through the exact protocol that I use with my one-on-one training clients and how I can help you get from 0 pull-ups to knocking out multiple reps in a set and getting that V-taper that everybody's looking for. Let's jump right into it. Throughout this entire protocol, you don't need any special equipment. The only thing you need is obviously a pull-up bar and a chair or a bench, so no bands or special equipment needed. And I'm gonna break down the protocol into 3 different steps. In step 1, we're gonna learn the intention behind the movement and what muscles you should actually be focusing on. In step number 2, we're gonna go through the exact exercises you will need to practice and progress through to work your way up to your first pull-up. And lastly, I'm gonna show you how you can implement these into a program you can easily follow. So to get started, the first question we have to ask is, what is my intention, or what muscles am I trying to focus on when trying to achieve a pull-up, or really any type of vertical pulling motion? And there are going to be 2 pieces that I'm going to have you really focus in on. Number 1 is scapular upward and downward rotation, which is just essentially your shoulder blades rotating upward and downward. This is going to be your initial intention at the start of any type of pull-up movement. And what you're going to try to do is pull your shoulder blades back and down together. You can literally stand there and just practice this with your hands over your head to get an idea for how this feels. Keeping your arms straight and thinking about shrugging your shoulders up towards your ears, and feel your shoulder blades start to come apart and rotate upwards. Then do the exact opposite by dropping your shoulder blades back and down as far as they will go and squeezing them together. The next part is, once your shoulder blades are pulled down and together, we need to start the actual pulling motion with the arms and the muscles of the back. Instead of thinking about pulling from the hands, instead, I want you to imagine that your hands are just hooks and trying to push your elbows down and place them in your back pocket. It can really help with engaging those back muscles. This can be really difficult to grasp at first because we don't really use our back muscles intentionally on a day-to-day basis, so it can really take some practice to kind of build that mind-muscle connection you hear about, and in particular with the back muscles. So practice is key here. With that in mind, that actually transitions us to the first exercise or progression in the protocol. And this is a really great exercise you can implement even if you do have a pull-up or 2 in your belt and can do a couple. This will really help to ingrain the movement and help build more strength. This movement is called a bar hang with a scapular pull or a scapular pull-up. The focus here is exactly what we talked about before when we were practicing with our hands overhead. Hanging from the bar with a shoulder width grip with a nice tight squeeze on it, you want to start with your arms straight and then start pulling those shoulder blades down and back towards your pockets. This is a very subtle movement, and it shouldn't feel like you're moving very much at all or bending your arms at all, which will be an initial fault. You'll want to try to pull with those elbows and bend your arms. You don't want to do that. The purpose here is just to improve both grip strength from just hanging and also improve your ability to control your shoulder blades, which in turn helps you engage your back, which in turn will help you start to progress on the pull-up. I personally still use this movement even though I can do multiple reps of pull-ups, because it is really a great overall warm-up and also a really good practice for overall shoulder health. If you're just starting out, I'd recommend aiming for 4 to 5 sets of 4 to 8 reps at a time. And if you are a little bit more advanced and have some pull-ups under your belt, you could aim for 3 to 4 sets of around 8 to 12 reps. But an important key here is that quality is always gonna take precedent over quantity. We want these reps to be really good quality reps, and that's gonna be a kind of theme you're gonna see throughout today's chat on pull-up strength, is that less reps and more sets is usually a better option when trying to build strength and skill during an exercise. Moving on to our second progression or exercise, it is the feet assisted pull-up. For this, you'll want to take a bench or a chair and place it directly underneath your pull-up bar and hang again with a slightly wider than shoulder width grip with your knees bent and your toes pointed into the bench. Those toes are going to be your assistants on the exercise, using them as much or as little as you need to slowly pull yourself up and lower yourself down. Start your pull-up with the intention we talked about earlier, thinking of pulling those shoulder blades down and together while simultaneously pushing those elbows down and into your back pockets. At first, you will need your legs to help you pull up and down, but as you get stronger, try to assist as little as you can, and in particular on the way back down. This negative or down portion of the movement is an area where you are always stronger, and allowing your back muscles to do the work instead of your legs will really help you to build strength and muscle in that area. Again, more sets with fewer reps, such as 5 to 6 sets of 4 to 6 reps would be ideal here. This will force you to focus on the quality of the reps versus lots of junk reps where you're just using your legs too much to assist. As you become stronger and stronger, you will use your feet less and less. And once you can slowly lower yourself without any assistance from the feet, you are ready to move on to the next progression in the protocol. Our third progression in the protocol is going to be negative pull-ups. The way to perform this movement is again putting a chair or bench beneath your pull-up bar if your pull-up bar is really high, or you can jump from the floor and using the momentum from your jump, pull your chin above the bar. Maintaining that slightly wider than shoulder width grip and keeping the chest tall and shoulders pulled back and together, slowly lower yourself, ideally using a 3 to 4 second count on the way down. Reset on the bench and repeat for reps. Again, more sets and less reps is the best way to program for this, shooting for 5 to 6 sets with 3 to 6 reps per set and about 90 seconds to 2 minutes rest between sets to really allow for full recovery so you can put maximum effort and quality into each individual set. If you find yourself dropping like a bag of rocks from the bar, revert yourself back to progression number 2, those feet assisted pull-ups, until you can really control yourself on the way down and then progress back to this set when you're ready. Once you can do a really quality 6 to 8 reps on the negative pull-ups, you then can move on to the next progression or exercise, which is going to be isometric holds at the top of the pull-up position. Again, you are going to jump yourself up so that the chin is above the bar, and instead of lowering yourself down slowly, you're going to try to hold this position for as long as you can, and focusing on good positioning. Chest tall, shoulders down and back, gripping that bar hard, and all the intent on the back muscles. At the start, aim for around 5 to 10 seconds, and look to slowly increase that time as you progress along. If you get to the point where you can hold yourself above the bar for at least 30 seconds and can knock out a solid 6 to 8 really spot on negative pull-ups, it's at this point that usually you can start trying to attempt a full-on pull-up. Once you've achieved your first pull-up, it's just gonna be a matter of practicing those pull-ups multiple times per week in small quality sets and still using some of those regressions at times to try to build up more strength once you become too fatigued with doing regular full-on pull-ups. Once you can string together 3 really good pull-ups, it's at that point that I'd like you to focus on mostly full-on pull-ups, and we can move into one of my favorite ways to program pull-ups, which is in an every minute on the minute format, also known as EMOMs. As an example of how you would set up an EMOM or an every minute on the minute type of program, a simple way would be to set a 10-minute clock, and at the start of each minute, you do a required number of pull-ups. I would pick a number that is fairly easy at the beginning of the 10-minute stretch, and it becomes fairly hard at the end, but doable. Again, this is a nice way to spread out the volume of the pull-ups over a longer period of time and allow you to really focus on the quality of the pull-ups during that minute, because the number of reps per minute should be fairly low. As an example, let's say you can do 3 really good pull-ups. I would probably set up a 10-minute EMOM where you only do 1 good pull-up per minute and you rest the remainder of that minute. At the start of the next minute, you do another pull-up. All in, you'll accumulate 10 really quality pull-ups because you're only doing 1 at a time, versus maybe doing 2 or 3 sets of 3 pull-ups where maybe you end up with 4 to 6 because you're too tired, or a few of them are just really bad quality because stringing them back to back is a bit harder. I really like EMOM setups for this because it is so simple to progress the program. For instance, if you find the 1 rep to be really easy for the 10 minutes, you could always increase the time that you're doing them. So you could do it for 12 minutes or 15 minutes, accumulating 12 or 15 pull-ups, or you could increase the number of pull-ups per minute to say 2, equaling 20 pull-ups in that 10-minute slot. This EMOM format can actually be used with all the progressions we talked about in the video here today. And as an example, to kind of give you a visual, I'll leave a 4-week sample program of how I would do it with standard pull-ups in the description down below, so you can check it out and kind of get a little bit better visual of what I'm talking about and adapt it to any part of the program that you're currently in. That sums up the video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you want to see more videos like this, please give it a thumbs up. It really helps with the YouTube algorithm. Subscribe to the channel, turn on that notification bell so you get notified anytime I put out a new video. I'd really appreciate it, guys. Have an awesome day, and I'll see you in the next one.